Somebody's going by above us.
What is that? Ooh.
Imagine for a moment that you are a scientist aboard a research vessel in the Gulf of Mexico. The year is 2007. A remotely operated vehicle descends through layers of ocean you cannot see, cannot feel, cannot survive. 2,000 meters. 3,000. The water temperature drops toward freezing. The pressure builds to levels that would crush a human body instantly. And then, through the darkness, something appears on your monitor. At first you think it must be a glitch, a smear of pixels, a trick of the camera, but then it moves. 8 impossibly long limbs extend downward from a small, ghostly body, each one bent at a sharp angle like the arms of a marionette suspended from invisible strings. The creature hovers there motionless, as if it has been waiting for millions of years for someone to finally witness it. You are looking at one of the rarest animals on Earth. You are looking at something that should not exist, something that defies everything we thought we knew about life in the deep ocean. You are looking at the Bigfin Squid, and nothing in your scientific training has prepared you for this encounter. This is not a creature of myth. This is not a monster from imagination. The Bigfin Squid is real, documented, and filmed fewer than 24 times in all of recorded human history. And the more scientists learn about it, the more impossible it seems. Its arms can stretch over 20 feet long. It dwells at depths where no squid should be able to survive. And no adult specimen has ever been captured, examined, or studied up close. Even now, in an age when humans have mapped the surface of Mars, the Bigfin Squid remains almost entirely unknown. This is a story about the most alien creature on our own planet, hiding in the most hostile environment imaginable, waiting in the darkness at the bottom of the world. To understand where the Bigfin Squid came from, we must first travel back in time long before humans existed, long before the continents took their current shape, to an era when the ancestors of all cephalopods were just beginning their strange evolutionary journey. Squid, octopuses, cuttlefish, and nautiluses all share a common lineage, stretching back more than 500 million years to the Cambrian period, when the oceans teemed with bizarre and experimental forms of life. The earliest cephalopods possessed external shells, much like the nautilus does today. But over millions of years, many lineages internalized or abandoned their shells entirely, trading protection for speed and flexibility. This was a revolutionary adaptation. Without the burden of heavy armor, these creatures could become the ocean's most agile predators. They developed complex nervous systems, remarkable intelligence, and the ability to change color and texture in an instant. But while most squid evolved to hunt in shallow or open waters, a few lineages took a different path. They descended into the darkness. They adapted to the crushing pressure of the deep. They became ghosts, drifting through a world so remote and so silent that no human would set eyes on them until the late 20th century. The Bigfin Squid belongs to the family Magnapinnidae, a name derived from Latin meaning great fin. Its closest known relative is Jubinateuthis, another bizarre deep-sea squid with elongated arms and a body plan that challenges conventional cephalopod anatomy. These two families likely diverged from a common ancestor tens of millions of years ago, each adapting in their own way to the crushing solitude of the deep. Scientists first began piecing together clues about this mysterious group in the 1880s, when a damaged specimen washed up near the Azores, a Portuguese archipelago in the mid-Atlantic. The creature was so mangled that researchers could make little sense of it, and it was filed away as just another unidentified deep-sea oddity. For nearly a century, the Bigfin Squid remained hidden. Then, in the 1950s, another specimen was caught in the South Atlantic, but again, scientists did not recognize its significance. It was not until the 1980s and 90s that a handful of juvenile specimens were recovered, finally allowing researchers Michael Vecchione and Richard Young to establish Magnapinnidae as a distinct family in 1998. But even then, no one had seen an adult alive. No one knew what they truly looked like, how they moved, or how deep they could descend. That would change 3 years later in a moment that would rewrite our understanding of deep-sea life forever. In 2001, marine biology student Heather Holston was reviewing footage captured by a remotely operated vehicle off the coast of Hawaii. On her screen, she saw something that made her stop breathing. A creature unlike anything in the textbooks floated through the darkness at a depth of over 3,000 meters. Its body was small, perhaps only a foot long, but its arms and tentacles extended downward for what appeared to be 15 to 20 feet. Each limb bent at an unnatural angle, creating elbow-like joints that gave the animal a puppet-like, almost mechanical appearance. Holston immediately contacted Michael Vecchione, one of the world's leading cephalopod experts at the Smithsonian Institution. When Vecchione saw the footage, he realized that the mystery squid on screen was almost certainly the adult form of the juvenile specimens he had been studying for years. The creature, now known as the Bigfin Squid, had finally revealed itself. In the years that followed, scientists combed through archived footage from oil rig cameras, scientific submersibles, and research expeditions around the world. They found more sightings, the earliest dating back to 1988, captured by the French submersible Naudiel off the coast of northern Brazil at a staggering depth of nearly 4,750 meters. Each new piece of footage confirmed what researchers had begun to suspect: the Bigfin squid was not limited to one corner of the ocean. It appeared to live everywhere from the Gulf of Mexico to the Philippine Sea, from the Great Australian Bight to the waters off Ghana. And yet, despite this apparent global distribution, sightings remained extraordinarily rare. Fewer than 24 have been confirmed to this day. To understand why the Bigfin squid has remained so elusive, we must descend with it into a realm that exists beyond human reach. The deep ocean is not like any environment on the surface of Earth. There is no light. Not a single photon from the sun penetrates below 1,000 meters. The temperature hovers just above freezing, a constant chill that never varies with the seasons. And the pressure is beyond imagination. At 2,000 meters, the weight of the water above presses down at more than 200 times atmospheric pressure. At 6,000 meters in the trenches of the Hadal Zone, that pressure exceeds 1,000 atmospheres, equivalent to having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of every square meter. This is the world the Bigfin squid calls home. A world without dawn or dusk, without seasons or storms, without any of the rhythms that govern life on the surface. Time moves differently in the abyss. There is only the endless descent of organic matter from above the marine snow, a slow-motion blizzard of dead plankton, fecal pellets, and decaying tissue that represents the only food source for many deep-sea creatures. In this world of scarcity, every adaptation matters. Every calorie must be captured and conserved. For most animals, such conditions would be instantly fatal. But evolution, given enough time, can adapt life to the unthinkable. In the Hadal Zone, creatures have developed gelatinous bodies that resist compression. Their cells contain specialized molecules that stabilize proteins under extreme pressure. Their eyes, when they have them, are tuned to pick up the faintest bioluminescent glimmers in a world of otherwise total darkness. The Bigfin squid has taken these adaptations to an extreme. Its body is small and delicate, perhaps only 30 centimeters long, but its arms and tentacles can extend to 6 meters or more, making it one of the longest squid known to science. Unlike other squid, whose tentacles are clearly distinct from their arms, the Bigfin squid's appendages are nearly identical, each tipped with microscopic suckers that glint faintly in the lights of passing submersibles. And then there are the elbows. No other cephalopod holds its limbs in this way, bent sharply perpendicular to the body, creating a shape that has been compared to a living tripod, an alien spacecraft, or the outstretched arms of a puppeteer's marionette. Scientists believe this posture serves a purpose. By dangling their sticky appendages downward, like fishing lines, the squid can intercept tiny particles and organisms that drift through the water column, a hunting strategy perfectly suited to a world where food is scarce and energy must be conserved. In 2015 and 2017, researchers conducting surveys in the Great Australian Bight captured remarkable new footage of Bigfin squid behavior. In one video, the turbulence from a remotely operated vehicle's thrusters sent a squid spinning helplessly, its delicate arms trailing behind like tangled ribbons. This suggested that the filaments contain little muscle, relying instead on the stillness of the deep water to maintain their precise positions. Even more surprising was a behavior never before seen in any squid. One specimen appeared to coil its filaments, winding them up like an old-fashioned telephone cord. Scientists speculated that this might be a mechanism for retracting the arms when not in use, or perhaps a defensive response to disturbance. But without more observations, the true purpose remains unknown. In March of 2021, during an expedition to locate the wreck of the USS Johnston, a World War II destroyer sunk in the Philippine Sea, the submersible DSV limiting factor captured footage that stunned the scientific community. A juvenile bigfin squid was filmed at a depth of 6,212 meters, making it the deepest squid observation in history. This was the first confirmation that the bigfin squid could inhabit the Hadal Zone, a realm previously thought to be beyond the reach of any squid species. The implications are staggering. The Hadal Zone comprises only about 1% of the ocean floor, confined almost entirely to the plunging trenches where tectonic plates collide and subduct. It is among the most isolated and extreme environments on the planet. And yet, somehow, the bigfin squid has found a way to survive there, drifting in the eternal darkness, waiting for particles of food to fall from the sunlit waters more than 6 kilometers above. What else might be down there in places we have never looked? Consider this: the deep ocean covers more than 60% of our planet's surface. It is the largest habitat on Earth, home to countless species we have never cataloged, ecosystems we have never mapped. Every year, deep-sea expeditions discover new organisms, from bioluminescent jellies to eyeless fish to microbial communities thriving on chemical energy rather than sunlight. The bigfin squid is not an anomaly. It is a representative, a single emissary from a kingdom of life we have only begun to explore. The bigfin squid raises questions that go far beyond biology. Why has no adult specimen ever been captured? Are they too fragile to survive the journey to the surface, their gelatinous bodies rupturing as the pressure drops? Or do they somehow evade the nets and traps that catch other deep-sea creatures? Why are sightings so rare even when cameras are deployed in areas where they have been observed before? Do they spend most of their lives in even deeper waters, venturing into camera range only occasionally? And perhaps most hauntingly, how many are there? Scientists have no reliable estimate of the bigfin squid population. The ocean is so vast, and our ability to observe it so limited, that we cannot say whether these creatures number in the thousands, the millions, or whether they are far rarer than we imagine. Each sighting is a needle in an impossibly large haystack, a fleeting glimpse of a species that seems determined to remain hidden. In 2023, researchers aboard the Schmidt Ocean Institute's research vessel Falkor observed a bigfin squid near a hydrothermal vent at a depth of nearly 2,000 meters. Hydrothermal vents are among the most extreme environments on Earth, where superheated water, rich in minerals, erupts from the seafloor, supporting ecosystems that thrive without sunlight. The presence of a bigfin squid so close to a vent suggests that these animals may be even more versatile than previously thought, capable of exploiting a wide range of deep-sea habitats. But for every answer, new mysteries emerge. We still do not know what the bigfin squid eats, though scientists suspect it feeds on small crustaceans, zooplankton, and organic particles that drift through the water column. We do not know how it reproduces, how long it lives, or whether individuals ever encounter one another in the vast emptiness of the abyss. We do not even know with certainty how many species of bigfin squid exist. 3 have been formally described, but the variation observed in video footage suggests there may be more, each adapted to slightly different depths or ocean basins. The bigfin squid forces us to confront a humbling truth: we know less about our own planet than we sometimes like to admit. More people have walked on the moon than have descended to the Hadal Zone. Our maps of the deep sea floor are less detailed than our maps of the Martian surface. And in this unexplored wilderness, creatures like the bigfin squid drift through centuries of silence, never seen, never studied, living and dying in a world we cannot reach. There is something almost mythological about the bigfin squid, something that resonates with ancient stories of sea monsters and abyssal demons. And yet, unlike the kraken or the leviathan, the bigfin squid is not a creature of imagination. It exists. It moves through the darkness right now as you read these words in oceans all over the world. It has been here for millions of years, evolving in isolation, perfecting its strange and beautiful form. Scientists like Michael Vecchione have dedicated their careers to understanding these animals, using every scrap of footage, every damaged specimen, every technological advance, to piece together the puzzle. Vecchione, who has been called the world's foremost bigfin squid expert, describes the sensation of receiving a new sighting as both thrilling and humbling. Each observation adds to our knowledge, but it also reminds us how much remains unknown. When remotely operated, vehicles spot a bigfin squid word spreads quickly through the scientific community. At NOAA, they call it the squid phone, a shorthand for get Vecchione on the line. In a world where new species of insects or bacteria are described every week, a confirmed bigfin squid sighting still makes headlines. And yet, the bigfin squid asks for nothing from us. It does not need our attention, our wonder, or our protection. It has survived ice ages, mass extinctions, the rise and fall of entire ecosystems. It has outlasted creatures far larger and more powerful, drifting through epochs of geologic time, while continents shifted and oceans rose and fell. If humanity disappeared tomorrow, the bigfin squid would continue its silent journey through the abyss, unchanged, unperturbed, eternal. Perhaps that is the most unsettling thing about this creature. It reminds us that the ocean does not belong to us. It is older than we are, deeper than we can fathom, and filled with forms of life we have barely begun to understand. The bigfin squid is not the last mystery of the deep. It is merely the one we have been lucky enough to glimpse a single thread in an infinite tapestry of unknown wonders. If you have ever stood at the edge of the ocean and felt for a moment that something ancient and indifferent was looking back at you, then you already understand what the bigfin squid represents. It is the ambassador of the abyss, the ghost of the deep, a living reminder that some secrets are not meant to be solved, but only witnessed. Somewhere right now in the crushing darkness of a trench, deeper than any mountain, is tall. A bigfin squid hangs motionless in the water, its impossible arms extended like threads of thought, waiting. It does not know that cameras exist, that scientists study footage of its kind, that humans debate the meaning of its strange posture and unknown diet. It knows only the silence, the cold, the pressure, and the patient fall of organic particles drifting down from a world of light it will never see. And when our cameras fade and our ships sail home, when the submersibles are hoisted back aboard and the scientists return to their labs, the bigfin squid will remain. It was here before we came looking. It will be here after we stop. The ocean keeps its secrets well. But sometimes, if we are patient, if we look closely enough, it allows us a single fleeting glimpse of the impossible. That is the gift of the bigfin squid. Not an answer, but a question. Not a solution, but an invitation. Not a discovery, but a reminder that the greatest mysteries are still waiting just beyond the edge of the light in the deepest waters of a world we barely know. And perhaps that is exactly as it should be. For in the end, the bigfin squid teaches us something that no textbook ever could. It teaches us humility. It teaches us that intelligence and curiosity, as powerful as they are, will never conquer all mysteries. It teaches us that some creatures live their entire lives without any awareness of us, and that our existence is no more significant to them than the fall of a single particle through 6 kilometers of black water. The next time you stand at the edge of the sea, remember what waits beneath. Remember the bigfin squid drifting in the darkness, its arms extended toward nothing, and everything patient, as the ages silent as the stars. And know that for all our science, all our technology, all our ambition to understand and categorize the world, there are still places where wonder has the final word.